All right, we're live again. It's been a while since I've done one of these streams, and mostly because I've been busy with other stuff, with work, of course, and then I've been, as you could see, I have sort of these items that I want to try and do later, and I've really been working a lot on this Vim course, and I'm hoping that um, I'm hoping to run workshops of that in person and then also recording it. And for that, I also need to learn like how to, record properly instead of streaming and then editing and this and that, which I really haven't gone into. So that's sort of why I haven't been streaming as regularly. But the last time I was here, we had built out an app that is using tRPC. On the back end, we can retrieve posts, we can paginate through them to our heart's content. We can add a post here. We can go in here and delete and edit posts. And the nice part of this is that this is using the form library that I was working on, and I pushed that to my GitHub under the fab components name, I believe. So that's the outlook here. And then what I want to do is I want to use Zod to build out the form. So I want to detect the pieces or the items of the form based on the Zod object. And then the idea being I can pass in any given Zod object and some metadata, and it will automatically give me, maybe not designed like this, but at some point later, it will automatically give me a create form. It will automatically give me paginated table. Maybe it'll give me a show page where I can delete and edit right off the bat without having to do too many things over and over. Now, obviously, you don't really want sort of this super kind of cookie cutter way of editing and deleting and so forth for every single model or concept that you have in your app. But for a whole bunch of them, you don't really need much more than this, or this kind of a thing. And so that's the goal here, is to make some of the mundane stuff really easy to do right off the bat, so that you can focus on, customizing the specific pages that you do need to customize, and sort of these models that are more supporting models versus the main models in your app. You can use something like this, or at least it might lead to something else, even if it's not, this exactly. Okay, so let me take a look at where we were in the code. Do I want this here? I probably don't want that there, but that's fine. Where were we? So we got our app, which is a router view. I'm kind of almost recollecting for myself, to be honest. We have a post page, which is a single view where we edit and delete. And then we have the posts page where we are sorting and everything, and paginating and all that good stuff. And at some point by default, we can make the table sorted by its columns. By clicking on the columns, you can sort them automatically. Okay. Right. So what I wanted to do here was pass in a Zod object that represents the posts, so that we can derive information from it. Now, there's something I haven't done before. I'm not too familiar with Zod itself, so I'm gonna keep that handy just as the documentation, so I can try and get out of it what I want. Ultimately, I want to be creating something like a I think I'd be here. How do I go back? That's interesting. I would, oh, there it is. Okay, there. Sorry. I would have wanted a monorepo where I have a shared folder, and the Zod objects, or at least the validation objects, live in that shared folder. But I don't have, like, this currently is not a monorepo, and I could spend some time turning it into a monorepo, but maybe that time is better spent just working on the Zod. Like, I'll duplicate some stuff now so that later I can refactor that into a monorepo. So that Zod object is here, and maybe I can go ahead and, I don't think I have Zod in my front package, so let's install that. And even that I don't recall. It's just be like just Zod. Yarn add Zod. Strict must be enabled in your TS config. And then yeah, just simple yarn add Zod. Okay, that should be good enough. Good enough. All right, and that gets us Zod, and then here I pretty much want to just copy this portion here and bring it onto my my front end here. And for now, it'll just be like const. I don't even know what to call it really. Shape is what I'll call this for now, because it's the shape of the object that we have here. I know Z is not defined, that's fine, but I had, I don't know why this is not. Okay, well, it's too bad. That is also really bad. Just because I'd been messing with my Vim config, it seems like currently it doesn't like, oops, it doesn't like, it's not formatting this page properly. Maybe I can even just take a quick look as to why. So I have Volar here and have ESLint. ESLint should be my formatter for this page. But maybe ESLint doesn't know how to do script setup. That's my assumption, but who knows? Okay, that's fine. Although, I mean, it is like, you know, if I, oops, so parsing errors. So this is not an error. So maybe my prettier setup in ESLint is not correct in the front end here. Let's see. No, I have prettier. And it's, I believe it's installed and everything. So this I would have thought this for sure would have yielded an error, even when I use, okay, it's weird. Okay, something for me to look into again in my Vim config. Okay, so I have my shape here, and I believe if I say const, you know, I'll just call it, oh, not, sorry, type post for now. I'll just name it instead of making it generic for now so I can follow through, and then maybe I'll make it generic later. Type of shape, I believe, is the kind of thing that I was doing before. So if I look at this, no, there is probably a typing thing z.infer type of blah. So this will be the Zod object, so I need to use z.infer. Right. Oops. So let me infer this here. And now when I go back here and take a look, that's my post object. And here I can say, I can define this with like ref post array. And then let's see if this works. Yeah, okay. That Vim config part is working now. that part of the LSP server. It's just the formatting of the script setup seems to not work automatically. Sorry, I might have missed something here. No, that's it. I just have Tailwind, ESLint, and Volar. And I don't think Volar is set up to format, but I'll take a look at that later. So now, because I've typed this, this is of type, posts. And then those typing issues that we were seeing here earlier. So for example, if I did just get rid of these issues here. So this, that's, I just added that, but these issues, and then maybe some issues down here as well, I would expect these to all go away once this is here. And indeed, it does seem like they do go away, which is really nice. I need to figure out how to get rid of those as well. But okay, so like adding Zod as an object, super cool, types everything, and we can now see why it's so cool to have this being in a shared package that's being shared between the front end and the back end, making it super easy to work. Now maybe I can see whether, like, what parts of this are extractable to make this more generic, so that maybe instead of this being the post page, this is just like a list page, and then there'll be like a show page, and the list page is the table and everything. There'll be a show page, there can be maybe an add page to add this kind of thing, and then that works its way through. This is fairly generic. There's nothing in here that's specifically post specific apart from this bit here, which we should be able to get through making this somewhat generic. Maybe this is something that we can pass into, in fact, our component, right? Like if I give you tRPC.post as an object into the component, then you should be able to list and view and all those things, right? Because all of that is going to be generic afterwards in most of these models. So I like that, instead of, passing in some string post and then having this kind of be, something like this where, oops, like that kind of a thing. Oops, or, these are out here. Just do this. Something like this. I don't want something like that. I actually want something like being just passing in this object here so that everything is still legit. Or these could be just generated files, maybe. I'll think about that as well. So I want to see where we start getting specific, and really where we start getting specific is this form object where we have title and body, and then this table where we're listing the title and the body. So the ID can be present in most, if not all, objects. So let me see maybe if I can derive some information here, and then that can be what I do today, just to get myself back in the groove of doing this. So what I'm trying to do here now is trying to get maybe like a key value thing, which apparently I should be able to get from shape. So shape turns out is a bad name for this. So here I'm going to just try and change it to something else. Maybe call it, for now I'll just call it post object. And then I believe post object will give me a dot shape field. And now this is something that I should be able to iterate over. And I believe I've used shape in this project before. So the backend schema helper, right, when trying to build the validation object for the backend to make that a bit more generic, I did use this. And then I was able to get the field in the definition. I didn't really like this because, which I might revisit later, but I should be able to get a field and a definition. So maybe let me open this up here and see what I was doing with this. And I'm returning just field and then something related to the definition. And so here, most things are going to be numbers or strings by default. And then, you know, we might want different form components for the numbers and strings, but initially all this stuff is just going to be numbers and strings. So just trying to see how I can start to think about this, right? Maybe I can just do a simple console.log on the shape. So let me try and do this where I do, you know, object.entries. I really want to get object.entries, and then can I just, you know, well, maybe I can just console.log this to begin with, and then we can see what to do with. And I hate that this is not auto formatting, which is tremendously annoying, but something for me to fix. This is not it. And I put this in the post page, so this should log this. Hello, governor. Oh, sorry, this is it. This is it. Okay, because it is entries, and it's not. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's giving me a Zod number and a Zod string, so I can just be like, hey, if you're a, I mean, for now, what do I care? I can just present all of them as everything but ID. I can present as this here, so that's fine. That's cool. So this dot shape, and then something like, you know, I could just go through the keys. So maybe I can do object keys is equal to post object dot shape dot. Is there a keys? Seems like there isn't. Shape is some T, but like, this is hard for me. Oh, okay, so that's that object. So shape itself is this thing here. Oh, I'm not in Ruby. What am I doing? Object.keys. And we'll filter out the ID one. Oh, the fact that this isn't all like nicely formatting and you have to hear me complain about it. Oh, Fiddler. What's that? So I have object.keys that aren't ID. And then I should be able to do something really disgusting here, like so I'm just going to continue to use fab input. And I could just do something really disgusting, like, which I'm gonna do. Like, hey, I'm just gonna say maybe field of object keys, and then the key here can oddly be field, and then the name will be the field. Let me just comment that out and see what happens. Yeah, of course, I filtered the ID, so I need to do not ID. And okay, great. This is nice. Obviously, I want this to be a text area, but the idea that this could be something generic based on the Zod object is pretty cool. It would have been nice if there was a way to like have some metadata on this object where maybe I could feed it, you know, input type or whatever, something like text area, and then I get, I can extract that over here in the form, down here, and then maybe fab input could be component is whatever based on what the metadata was, but we cannot do that, unfortunately. We would have to wrap the Zod object in some other object that contains the metadata, which we might yet do, because it is helpful. I don't see why we can't do that, because that could still be shared between the front end and the back end, and the back end simply gets the Zod object from that wrapped object, and then the front end takes the Zod object and then also extracts the metadata. So we might have an object ourselves that represents both. Like, I'm doing this off the cuff, so it's not something I've given too much thought, but at least I'm kind of shaping some of these ideas. And then once I have a better plan, I can go through those. So just for testing purposes, I can still see, like new post content, and then see that being submitted down here. This we won't have, obviously, but then again, this kind of thing can also be derived from metadata. Now this will become just a simple, like, ID blah 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 blah. Just even make this a table. But that is what it will become, just a key value pair kind of situation, which I also think is okay for just like basic automated things, and then you modify this based on what you need. Okay. Let's do the table. So these fields here, same thing. Well, I can, for these in earnest, I could just do all of these, but these are the dynamic fields, same thing. Fields of object keys. Keys equal to field. Actually, I want this to be field. And then here, this becomes field. I can get rid of that. When I go back, this is nice because this seems to be working, and well, it is working, but because I uppercase the header, we don't see the lowercaseness of it, which is fine for now. And then same thing here, and then now we're kind of getting funky, but that's fine. Let's just copy this and paste it over here. TD, and then does that work if I do a simple cool TD, and then yeah, this kind of thing. But here I want to do post field in order to get that information out. And now this doesn't like it, but this works. So why does this not like it? Element implicit any. Element implicit has an any type because of expression type string cannot be used to index. Right. Okay, that's fine. Now in this case, like, we know what's happening here. And I'm trying to sort of think back to my TypeScript where, let's see, let me just play around with this again, just so I understand what's happening. Can I say something like, and this, won't make any sense maybe, but something like key of post object dot shape. I can't say that, so it turns out. Let me see what this is. So I'd have to do like a type of, but I don't know what the object turns out to being. Okay, that's kind of what I want, except not ID. But now this is working. So here, because I've said, okay, this is an array of, key of type of post object dot shape. These are properly typed. So when I look at this here, this is either ID, title, or body. Although technically it shouldn't be ID, so I should be able to do something of an emit here, but I'm just going to leave that for now. But this should work with an emit. Really, that's it. They all have IDs, right? So we can assume that this object gets, something to the nature of, this can be renamed. A lot of these things can be renamed. I could use more generic names, right? Like call this item instead of post. I should call this a schema. So item schema. Perfect. And then maybe this post down here. Maybe I could just do this. That's fine. This post down here could just be items, right? Great. And then where else do I have post? So this will be passed in. So I'm going to leave that for now. That will also be passed in ideally. So I can call it tRPC. I can call it API, right? I should be able to do something like const item API is equal to tRPC.post, right? And then here, that's that thing here. So anywhere we have tRPC.post, I should be able to replace that with item API. And that does extract it up into here, but then, this thing is still nice, well, and typed as it should be. Okay. Let's continue to see where we have references to post. So this is easy as well. This can become item of items. Amazing. Now this is a string that we will need to pass. So let me just get up to the top here again. And we got this, and my API is up here. I can get rid of this. I'm just pulling all these things that are kind of related together here. And well, I can at least do this because these should be passed in to this object. Then the other thing we'll be able to pass in is like item name, which is post. And then that maybe can act automatically as this thing down here, right? And then let's continue to search for post. Now these are the only two references to post in our component here. Cool, that's amazing because, oh, hey, somebody here. Hello, Jaw. Thanks for joining the stream. Okay, so now I've extracted essentially post from all of this. So really this should just be in an items page, which then from my router, okay, not this router, this one. There's too many routers now. So in my case, my Vue router is right in here. So I would, this whole thing, instead of passing post page here, for example, I'd pass in like items page, and this could be an item page. An item seems to be a good enough name for this kind of a thing. And then all of these could just be generated as well. And maybe, you know, I pass in something like, if I had a function called item routes, I would simply just really, well, I'm going to comment this out, but I'll use this for reference here. So the name, the item name can be post, for example. And then the API thing can be something like tRPC.post, which gets passed in. And then the other thing is the schema, right? And that would be the whatever the Zod schema that I'm importing from the shared repo. And then this essentially would create both these. And then later on, maybe even like an ad page and so forth. So that would be super cool. Then I can have a bunch of just these, right? And now, I mean, I guess we are getting somewhat Railsy here. So let me go in and change the item page as well. So I've done the post page. Let me do the post page as well. So here, same thing. Let me actually just load both of them up side by side. And again, I'm going to copy this for now, but the idea is that this will be passed in through some kind of a prop. So I have my item schema. I'm going to derive my type from that item schema and then use it here. This is just an item, and I can import that. And now I would have expected, these type issues to go away like they did over here, but it seems like that didn't happen. So let's see why. Okay, yeah. So it seems like because I'm not passing in any object to start, I mean, here we had an array, and our empty array is still an array of type item. This does need to be undefined because it might be the case that we don't have that object, which makes sense because data here is undefined or post model when you get the specific one, but list always returns an array. And now those type issues have vanished, all these things, but I want to make this more generic as well. And I'm thinking of using a table, although it is kind of icky, but just to start us off here, I don't think that's too bad. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Maybe I can change the references here as well. So post becomes item. This also, I want to kind of get, so this is passed in, this is inferred, so everything passed in I want here, and then item name, same thing. All of this might cause issues, but we'll see. Let's continue to search for this. So tRPC, oops, dot post. Okay, there's a few references. Let's substitute with item API here, and that's it. And then let's continue to search for post. So now this is posta, and I don't really want to do like a pull thing and everything, but that's fine. Let's just do this for now, where the S is kind of assumed, and we'll deal with it. Your post has been deleted. Your yeah, I could say your item name here, right? That's not unusual at all. Post page, your item names page. Okay, now these are the only two references to post that I have in the entire thing. Obviously, because these have been changed to item. Let's just go back and take a look at the page, and it shows me this information. Let's get one that's populated. So again, this will just be replacing this with a table, because we want to make it generic, and then later on we can figure out ways of customizing it. So I do have a table here. I never ended up building a table component, which I mean I'm going to do maybe later in a different stream. That's fine. We're going to copy and paste this here. Unfortunately, get rid of that. Sorry, I just have like I have a table inside an article. Is that okay? Because the whole thing was supposed to be an article itself, and all that is gone, which is funny. So I don't need this if anymore because I have this if here, and then now my it's kind of be like key value. So my header, it's gonna be something like value. I'm gonna change these names obviously. So it's like key value, and then these items. So the TRs here will be based on the object keys. So if I can go back up, I don't have the object keys here, so let me just pull them in from posts. And again, this kind of stuff will be derived, so I'll probably have maybe even this can be a shared thing somewhere. Okay, so now I have object keys. And in this specific case, I actually don't want to filter. Whoops, that doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, okay. So I would, oops, what am I doing? Okay, something is not working here. Okay, that works. That doesn't work. Sorry, I'm just having some Vim issues here, but I can just visually delete it for now. Because I do want ID to be part of this, but then no, I will keep it the same because I wanna refactor that at some point, and so maybe out here ID can be the default thing. And so here I should have, so this, the TR, I want to loop over field of object keys, and this can be a field. And then down here, I want to say something like, okay, that's not giving me, okay. I can say something like item field. Oh no, this should be field itself. And then this one down here should be item.field or item field. And then I can get rid of this. And then this should just give me a table of item value, which it does. And I just need to have padding because I guess I removed it. So let me just grab some padding. I did have padding here. So how come in this one it was so nice? And I removed padding? What is this? Is it because... What? How come this is nicely paddinged? This isn't. Oh, okay. I think it might be because where the... no, I thought it would have been the container, but that does not seem to be the case. Maybe because I dumped it in a prose thing. So if I just take it out of prose, will that give me what I want? Okay, that else if doesn't make any sense. So I'm just gonna throw all of this in a template. Or v else if item. Oops. Item, and then that's fine. This table alongside this article for now. Honestly, that article is gonna probably just disappear entirely. And then we can bump this up. This should not be giving me... okay, yeah. I need to remove just this, which is nice because I was getting an issue here. Okay, so now this should be fine, and this is the this is even worse. What is it? I genuinely don't know. Okay, let's see. It's just making me laugh just because of the absurdity of it. Like, look how nicely this is. Because maybe because this is full. Maybe it's because of full width of the screen. Is that why? No, it seems like there's padding there. And that padding is coming from... Oh, no, it's because I added it manually. Here. So again, I'm just going to copy this as well. Because, again, eventually this will be part of... So that's what happens when you come back to a project after a bit. Now maybe I can still plug this whole prose business that I did, or at least taking that out of the article. So maybe now I can bring this table back into the article, even though I've sort of wrapped around this template thing. So it looks something like this, which is much nicer than just a full screen for specifically an item. And I'm kind of getting key value and this, which is fine, you know, field and whatever. Honestly, I don't even need to have a header here, but I'm just going to leave it as key value for now. And then what do I have? Do you have two articles in here? You have two tables? Let's just copy paste the whole thing over twice. That's fine, which means we can just delete this one and this one, it turns out. I don't know how that happened. And then we could just get rid of these and just have deleted it at the bottom. So just pop it out. And now I have my title and my body. So it's more of, you know, sort of this. I need to modify this as well, which I can really copy paste for now. But again, this is more of, this needs a cancel button. But all that should still work. And I'm seeing posts everywhere, even though I'm passing that in as an object. So that's pretty nice. Okay. All right. This is turning out nice. And then my form down here where I have these fields, that will just take my fab form up here, and this really, I can just copy that and then replace it with this. And now once I go into a post and I edit it, it is turning out as this, but that's fine because for now, that's all we need. All that stuff, all that customization is probably something that I'll think about later. Really, that's all I wanted to get done today is kind of being able to extract the items. There's a bunch of refactoring I need to do. So for example, this item schema business needs to be from a shared repo passed in as a prop. And then these need to also be just extracted through maybe a function or what have you that just returns the item and the object keys for any given object because I'm using it in multiple places. These also, same thing, need to be passed in as props. And then the rest of it is dynamic. Great. That's amazing. Look at that. Just one place, and that's going to be passed in anyway. Okay, that's all I had for today. I think there's a couple things for me to just think through about where I want to take this. I just wanted to do this this stream just to kind of get back into the rhythm of things, and okay, and then I need to figure out a few other things about why formatting is not working in this. Like it should be telling me those leading. So I just get my prettier setup is not 100% for whatever reason, and I need to figure that out. Okay, I think that's it. That's all I have for today. I think I've done, Zod to this. I've done some of this, but maybe some refactoring to be done there. But I want to say create monorepo from separate repos. I always misspell that. And maybe that's something I'll look at next time, is kind of that that refactoring of this object into a monorepo. And maybe the next step can be that thing I did in here, which is this kind of thing, right? Like item routes being automatically passed in here. And that would be really cool as well. Or like we're not too far away from that, but I don't want to spend too much time now. I just want to get to sleep. Okay, that's it for today, and I'll see you